This film has 18 million views. This went mega viral.
And then all of a sudden, Hollywood comes knocking. Okay, in today's episode, Jordan is going to take us through this really cool filmmaker, Colin Krawchuck, and just what he did to go from YouTube to feature film. Super cool journey.
Let's check it out.
Dive into it.
So today we're going to be looking at Make Do Entertainment, a group of YouTube filmmakers who eventually made some concept short films that were turned into a feature.
I'm stoked on it.
I'm really excited to show you.
This is cool. It's really the this is like the dream a little bit. You know what I mean?
The dream.
Where it's like you're making stuff in your bedroom, and then all of a sudden Hollywood comes knocking, says hello, and you say, "I will make you a feature." Yes.
You open the door. They're like, "Hey, that thing you made, could you do that with a budget?
With a budget?
With some money, some time?" Let me just introduce you to the crew.
Okay.
So the YouTube channel is called Make Do Entertainment. I feel like it was in its heyday 10 years ago.
Okay.
Around 2015 through 2018 is really, I feel like, when I discovered them. And I love them because they felt very Film Riot-esque. They have like a crew of like 4 people and they just make do with whatever it is. So there's the main guy. His name's Colin Krawchuck. And it's a wild last name. I'm sorry.
You couldn't hold it. You couldn't hold it.
He's a great guy.
We can cut
What?
this out.
Where at? No, we're keeping it in. The reason I really resonated with Colin is he's the face of the channel as well. So he's the main actor, but then he's also kind of the writer director, which I feel like in high school was also kind of my role. I was like, okay, my brother would shoot and he would edit, and then I would kind of write, direct, act. Their first video to pop off, their first short film, horror short film. I feel like horror short film is kind of the way to get discovered. For whatever reason, there's something about horror short films where people watch them. You put horror short film in the title, people are clicking. And so we're just kind of going to skim through it a little bit, and I'll show you. So it's called On My Way. This came out 2016.
2016, wow.
And again, with like a crew of like 5 people,
Wow.
I think, in the whole thing. It's a 10-minute short film that's all real time. It's like from one shot.
Wait, it's a oneer is what you're saying?
It's a oneer, yes. So he's on his way. He's getting into his car. And this is like a really cool shot because we're like, all right, he's getting in. We do this like pan to the rear view mirror, Will Dorn. And then the car door opens and you're like, wait a second, what's going on?
So it's mounted?
This is all one shot. Oh, you see that? You see what's going on?
Oh, wow.
Little spooky boy running at the car.
Oh my gosh.
And he's about to get out and then they're up. Something's about to happen.
You know what that reminds me of is that Instagram, those Instagram guys, those 2 duo people.
Oh, the Crows Bros?
Gemelos or whatever. Yeah.
Crows Bros is
Crows
sick.
Bros, that's right.
Back in 2016, this was insane.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I'd never seen anything like this.
You're stoked on this.
And these cuts, he's like, oh, there's someone coming behind.
Oh,
he just ran her over,
That's
brother.
awesome. That's an easy, like, oh, wow. That's a cool film technique, right? Where you don't have to like show her getting run over. Is terribly difficult.
It's like, oh, we just ran over these speed bumps. And so this is our first cut. The cars crash. We hear these sounds. He's like crawling. We're like, oh shoot, our protagonist probably cooked here. Like most horror short films, he's just gonzo. And then that spooky boy from the beginning, boom.
Oh, and then it cuts.
Done. And then it cuts, and that's the end of the film.
That's cool.
This was kind of one of their first horror films to really pop off. And then they made The Jester. What I like about them as well is they do this thing that me and my brother were doing where they would go to a Halloween spirit store and just find a mask. And then it was like, for this Halloween, we're making this short film centered around like whatever the mask was.
Oh, that's fun.
So I think for On My Way, they found that clown mask. And then they kind of derived a short film from the clown mask.
Yeah, surrounding that prop.
Which I think is really fun. It's a good like kind of Kickstarter into making something is, we have either like a location, a prop, or costume. And that's kind of like the starting point for your short film, which I think is, if you're struggling to come up with ideas, just like try and find something novel and cool that you can turn into a film. We're not going to show the whole film here. We'll have the link down below of all the Jester films and then a link to the trailer of the feature film as well.
Yeah, this gives me like Film Riot vibes of just kind of that blue-orange.
Yeah. Well, it looks very much like short films from that era as well.
Yeah, pretty moody lighting. This is fun. It's a fun look. I like the mime play they're doing for the Jester, where he doesn't talk.
Yeah, it's super
That's
sweet.
always interesting because he's kind of interpreting his intentions based on that, right?
Yes.
Where he's like, oh, he's a cool guy, but I'm imagining he's not a cool guy.
Maybe not so cool.
He's about to get fricked. Do you think they blacked out his eyes, or it looks like he might be wearing his mask
So get
slightly
this.
lower, right?
They blacked out his eyes in post,
Yeah. Okay.
and they said it took them until the feature to just get mesh behind his eyes. So it's a lot of hand masking and stuff to make sure the eyes are black.
So is it one of these things like if you don't interact with him, then like you're safe or whatever?
So I think for this one they said the Jester is cool with people that are celebrating Halloween. So these guys are wearing Halloween costumes.
So he's chill with it.
So he's chill with them.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, kind of fun.
I love like horror films. They typically abide by some form of rules, but the rules
Yes.
are like flipped in a way, right?
There it is.
Cool credits. Nice.
Okay. Initial thoughts, brother?
It was fun
on this short film.
It was really fun. So I think I was gonna mention this earlier. It's interesting. Like the horror genre is an interesting one for people to enter into because I always feel like it's the lowest budget, right? Like you can
Yes.
get away with creepy stories and like interesting things with a horror short film versus any sort of other thing. So it's kind of fun, yeah, that they went down that route. And it's cool too, because yeah, again, you can go to Spirit Halloween, find a mask, find a
Yeah.
costume, and then craft this interesting story. Yeah, and again, I was talking about like I love that usually the horror genre has some sort of rules. The world has rules to it, but you are unaware of them. And so yeah, like you were saying, I guess the rule was like he wasn't wearing a Halloween costume, and so the
Yep.
Jester like fricked him.
Jester just murks him. Yeah, well, I think and get this, dude. This film has 18 million views.
Oh my gosh.
This like went mega viral. And what I love about this first one, the first Jester short film, is just the Halloween vibes.
Yeah.
Like I love a good Halloween movie, something to sit down, maybe a little spooky. But this one's also like pretty fun. He's not just like this psychopath killer that's going around like killing people. He's a jester. He has some fun, like he's doing like close-up magic. He's like, oh, here's this card trick, or there's him where he's kind of just like twirling his cane and stuff, or he's tying his shoes together. He's doing all these kind of like whimsical things, but with like a very dark undertone.
Yeah,
of
the
like,
juxtaposition of that, right, is like, yeah, it's whimsical, but like he's gonna kill you.
I just love the capture, like the fun part of Halloween, but also the eerie part of Halloween. But it's not like overly gratuitous like a lot of like Halloween stuff is.
It's interesting too with stuff like this. I feel like you gain a better appreciation when you know what was done as well, right? Knowing that like, oh, it was a super small crew, knowing that they used no light setups, which to me is insane. It looks amazing for the fact that they didn't have any lights. Yeah, it just gives you this whole like appreciation to it, right? What they were able to accomplish with just such a small amount of resources.
Oh, it's wild.
And yeah, able to, like you said, capture a vibe, make you feel something, take you through a little journey where it's like, oh, this Jester's kind of fun. Oh man, he's not so fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and they had
sweet.
an original score for it as well. So I think the original score is really fun, and they bring that in for the other films. And so what's kind of funny is they go on this path of, okay, next year we were going to do just like some other random like Halloween short film. So, but people are asking for another like Jester film or whatever.
Cool.
So they go through. I won't show all these
Yeah.
all the way through, but the link is in the description for the other Jester films.
Which one's the best one,
Which
Jordan?
one's the best one?
Do you like the first one the best?
I think the first one's probably the best.
Yeah.
Because the second one, and the cinematography is always improving. I think a
Yeah.
lot of the technical aspects are always improving. But the story for the second one, there aren't necessarily any like hard and fast rules like there were in the first one. Like the first one, like the rule, it was simple, but it made sense.
Yeah.
You're not dressing up for Halloween. You're getting murked. He's the Halloween spirit. He's killing you. So the second one, and they have a director's commentary on it, so I listened to that as well. It kind of falls victim to, they're kind of just doing the same thing they did in the first one.
Okay.
But the Jester in this one, a lot more malicious and not super whimsical at all. Like he does like a couple little things, but then the Jester essentially steals this guy's girlfriend and kills him at the end.
Oh,
that's
man.
kind of like
Does
what
the
happens.
girl stay with him? Is she like pumped about it? Or?
Yeah, so she like kind of becomes the Jester's helper or something, and then her poor boyfriend that's dressed up like Where's Waldo just gets absolutely dogged on. And he's like, wait, what's going on? Why are you leaving me? But again, all of these films were like super successful. Jester Chapter 2, the second film they made, 9.8 million views.
Wow.
People are loving the Jester. They're loving this character. They made just a super cool character that people just want to see more of, which is, I feel like that kind of like 80s slashers, like people love to see Jason, they love to see Leatherface, they love to see Freddy. And so they're kind of trying to create this legacy character, which I feel like hasn't been done in like recent history. I guess do you know Art the Clown?
No, I'm
Have you heard of
unfamiliar.
Art the Clown? Have you heard of Terrifier at all?
No, sorry.
So a lot of people kind of say the Jester's kind of like based off of him, or they're just very similar. You may have seen memes of this guy. This guy, you ever seen this guy before?
Oh, wait, when did this come? When did it come out? Was it?
So
It's
I
an
think
old
there was a
film.
short around the same time as the first Jester short, around like 2015,
Oh,
2016.
okay.
Of Terrifier, and he's Art the Clown. So I feel like he's one in recent memory that has become like a legacy horror character.
Yeah.
But
Didn't
they don't come around.
Terrifier 2 came out and was like very popular or something, right?
I think so. I think there's
Like
3 films. So they make the second film, also goes super viral, and then they're like, all right, I guess we're making a third film.
Okay.
So they make a third
okay.
film, and the third film kind of swings back on what the second film was. So the first film was whimsical, but it was also like a little dangerous, like
Yeah.
a little evil. The second film, he's just dangerous, not super whimsical, not
Yeah.
super fun. And then the third one is he's super fun. So he's not super dangerous in the third
Oh,
one, which is kind of interesting. So
okay.
they kind of, and this one I think came out like 3 or 4 years after the first one because the kind of the productions just got bigger and bigger and bigger. The main character is this little girl, probably like 7, 8 years old, and she wants to go trick or treating. And so the Jester actually goes with her like door to door, and they go trick or treating. It shows again that whimsical nature of the Jester, that he's not like always evil. He's not this evil character. He just like abides by these rules of make sure Halloween is a good time. And kind of like the climax of the film is they go to one of these houses that has its lights off. And you know, if a house its lights off around Halloween, what's the deal?
They don't celebrate Halloween?
You don't celebrate Halloween. You're
They're
not
out.
getting candy from that house.
Yeah, not a shot.
Definitely not. So that's kind of the climax of the film is the Jester talks to this dude. This dude's pissed off that there's a guy trying to like get candy from him. And so they get in this fight. And you would think with the Jester's nature or whatever, and the little girl's there the whole time. She's watching like
Oh,
2
gosh.
grown men just duke it out. And with the previous 2 Jester films, you're like, this dude's gonna get killed in like the most brutal way. He like kind of gets hit, kind of gets scuffed up. But what's fun about this one is when he comes back to, he's wearing the eerie kind of helper mask,
Yes.
but then he's just forced to hand out candy the rest of the night, which I think is just kind of a funny, kind of comical twist
Yeah.
to the whole kind of horror genre. Where he actually, I don't think the Jester even kills anybody in this one, but he's kind of going around being a little menace on Halloween. So I think that's
Yeah.
kind of like a fun character, is this little menace. But what
That's
is
awesome.
cool about this third one is at the end they do a callback to the very first short film. So we'll just play like this little part,
Okay.
which I think is kind of fun. So you remember the ghost at the very beginning of the
Yeah.
first film? He's like, "Hey, happy Halloween." So the ghost is just chilling. He's like, "This is kind of weird." And and the cinematography's taken a big step up since the first one. Like I feel like
yeah, looks nice.
the color looks really nice. Everything looks a lot sharper.
That mask so eerie.
The mask's eerie, brother.
Yeah. Oh,
So he's
it's-
back, brother.
Oh wait, so now this is like the first.
So the
moment.
Jester Chapter 3 is actually
Is
like a
the-
prequel to
oh,
this one.
wow. Oh.
So then we get back to this original interaction between both of them, and they made like their own little like cinematic universe,
Oh, that's sweet.
which
That's
I thought was
awesome.
super cool.
It's so cool, like for filmmakers like this, where they have created a vibe that people like, that they vibe with. You know, I feel like that's your goal the whole time, is like someone else gets this vision that I have,
Yeah.
and they're liking it. Like how satisfying, how cool as a filmmaker to have that happen, where people are clamoring for another and another and
Yes.
another. Like very cool
Oh, it's super
opportunity for
fun.
them.
And this one, 6.3 million views. So it's like I think 18 million
Wow.
views, almost 10 million views, and then
Yeah.
6 million views.
Yeah.
So just racking up views. And like you said, there's demand.
Yeah.
People are
yeah.
asking, "Hey, where's this character?" And what's really fun is on Colin's Instagram, someone made like fan art of his character.
Oh wow!
I'm like, man, that's gotta be so cool.
that's the dream, right? Somebody's taking your universe and making a spin on it a little bit. That's
Oh,
cool.
So fun. Jester Chapter 3 comes out.
Yeah.
And then I don't know exactly what he does professionally. I'm sure he works for a production company or something.
Yeah.
But then gets reached out to make the feature. This gets picked up by, have you heard of Dread or Shudder at all?
Oh, Shudder. Yeah, that's a streaming service.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the Netflix of just like horror films. So he is based out of Florida, gets essentially a grant. I think it's called FIRST. It's an acronym. I'm not sure exactly. It's like Florida something something film. I don't know. So gets a grant to go make the feature film.
That's cool.
And what's really cool is his friend Michael Sheffield, who I think is also helping with the writing and stuff. He's the one that also plays the Jester. The studio is on for him to also be the Jester in like the feature film.
Oh, cool.
They're letting Colin write and direct the film.
Yeah.
And then they are letting the composer who's composed all the 3 short films also compose the feature film at the same time.
That's sick.
So I feel like, again, that's the dream where you get to just bring your boys along for the ride and kind of help them achieve like the vision, and again, get paid for it too, instead of having to pay money to do these like different films. They make this film and now it's available. You can watch it on like Amazon or Apple, or I think on Shudder it's also available.
Very cool to see these guys. I mean, yeah, it's just that this is the era of like bedroom filmmakers.
Yes.
You know, just making it happen, coming up with ideas with your buddies, and then like, all right, let's go shoot it.
Yeah.
And then seeing the reaction. Yeah, it's really interesting. So I have to ask you, was it good though, the feature film?
It could use some work.
Okay.
But again, the idea behind them essentially getting all creative control, getting a budget to continue this universe that people are asking for, I think is really cool. And I think they just wrapped shooting the second one. So I think
they got a sequel?
Yeah, they got a sequel. The
Okay,
Jester
so
2.
it's good enough for a sequel?
Exactly. I think Dread and Shudder, again, I don't know how they relate, but they are stoked to make a second one. So I think it just wrapped filming. So I think either end of 2025 or 2026, we're going to see a Jester Chapter 2 of the feature.
Okay.
Which will be really cool. And I hope they explore a little bit more of the Jester. In the first one, it's kind of like a coming of age story between these 2 sisters. And so the Jester's not a huge kind of proponent of the film. Like he kind of helps bring it along, but we don't see a whole lot of him in the film. So that's what I would really like to see in the second film, is a little bit more of the Jester. What this also makes me think of, where you're making a short and then it gets picked up and then you get to make a feature based on that short, even in the horror genre, is Lights Out. Have you ever seen Lights Out?
No.
Have you heard of Lights Out at all?
No.
Well, let me indoctrinate you in another horror, just to kind of wrap up here.
Yeah.
So there's this director. His name's David Sandberg. I believe he's, I think, Swedish. And he made a short film called Lights Out, where basically there's this evil creature lady that only shows up when it's dark. So if you have the lights on.
Seen it.
So he made a short film. And then he goes on and makes this film based off of his short film. Super cool film. Super cool how they're playing with like the concepts and stuff. And he did a podcast episode, I believe with Film Riot, where he's talking about his transition from directing short films to a feature film. Like a feature film in LA, like in Hollywood.
Big jump, I'd imagine.
It's an enormous jump.
Yeah.
And how he was like, man, it takes so long to get anything done in Hollywood.
Really?
Because I think
because of the unions,
the standard is
like
typically like you're only filming 3 to 5 pages of a script a day. And so if you have
how long's a feature? I don't even know. You know the numbers.
A feature is going to be like 120-page script.
Oh my!
So it's going to take a long time.
So shooting days.
So the Jester, I think, was shot in 17 days, which is pretty quick.
Yeah.
For a feature.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how long it took the Lights Out film to be made, but he basically was talking about how he needed to get some pickup shots, and they're like, it's going to take too long. And so he's like, he grabbed his Blackmagic pocket cinema camera and then shot all this B-roll, and it made it into the film.
Oh,
which
really?
is super funny. He's like, I'm so sick of how long it takes to get this stuff done. So he goes back to his indie roots, I think he just grabs the actors during lunch and just shoots this thing.
Oh,
and then it makes it into the final film. I think it's some flashback footage.
Was that up to code though? Did the unions know about that?
David?
Well, that's what the thing. Jeff, our old boss. Hey, rest in peace, Jeff. We miss you. He was saying like stuff like that will bog you down, where it's like, oh, I want to have a prop in this, but you have to have a prop master to be able to have a prop, right? And so those things, I think, that's probably some of the. And I'm not saying that's bad or good, you know, but it's just one of these things that does slow down if you're trying to act fast on something. To have to wrangle all that stuff to make it happen. Jumping from, I've always heard this, is that like, if you're doing shorts do not prepare you for a feature. They're not the same. I mean, they're similar, and you can kind of see it in some of this stuff where it's like, yeah, you can sustain my attention for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. That's great. But sustaining someone's attention for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, that's a feat right there, right?
Sure.
Like,
yeah, that's I mean, that's kind of it. That was the Jester, the YouTube video, and then a little bit about the feature. Go check it out. Colin Krawchuck, you're the man, brother. Good luck on the Jester 2.
Jester Part 2. Okay, is that? I mean,
I think that's it.
That's it.
That's our outro.
Okay.
I'm Jordan.
I'm Garrett,
and this is Offline Media Podcast.